Hi everyone, welcome back to Aspergers from the Inside. You're here with Paul. Today, I want to talk about some autism communication strategies, namely open-ended questions. And the moral of the story that I learned this week again is do not ask autistic people open questions. So, as some of you may know, we're running some social meetups online. Given that a lot of us are in lockdown, it sounded like a good thing to do. So I've been running those meetings. I'm actually a professional facilitator in real life, so I've got a lot of experience running meetings in person, online, a lot of things like that. And it's very interesting to see the difference of what I need to do as a facilitator running a meeting of predominantly autistic people versus your average neurotypical. So one of the things that was quite striking this time is naturally we started off with some introductions, right? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you into at the moment? These are really open questions. And it was really interesting to see that almost all of us struggled with these really open questions. Probably at least 50% of us, our first response was, "Oh, I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it. What have you done this? What's something you've done this week? I'd have to think. I'm not sure. Nothing's coming to mind." Um, and so it's interesting because I know that that's the case for me a lot of the time. I need really specific prompts because if you just say, "What have you done this week?" nothing immediately comes to mind. Whereas if I have a more specific prompt, like, "Where did you go this week?" or "How was Tuesday night?" or something like that, then it's going to prompt my memory to go in a certain direction. And then I'll actually have something to say because it's all there. Sometimes we use the excuse of, "Oh, my short term memory is not that good." Actually, my short term memory is fine. It's just that it doesn't automatically bring itself to the surface. I have to ask myself a specific question. So, my strategy for when someone asks me an open ended question is I sort of scan through what's going on and then I pick a very specific thing, the first specific thing that comes to mind, and I just say the first specific thing that comes to mind. Because the challenge in social situations is finding an answer quick enough to keep the conversation going, right? If someone asks, "How are you?" and you take 15 minutes to respond, that's probably not going to work out so well. So it was there's so many interesting things that happen when you put a bunch of autistic people in a room together, or in this case, an online room together. Suddenly, what we thought was only us, all of a sudden we can see other people doing it. And you can see, like, from the outside, "Oh, that's what it must look like when I do that. How interesting." Or alternatively, in this case, I'd completely forgotten that that was something that I struggle with because I have so many strategies to get around it in everyday life that it's not really an issue anymore. But to be reminded that I really do need those prompts and to see other people have the same struggles that I have and think, wow, as a facilitator, as running an online group or a meetup group or anything like that, I need to do things significantly differently. I can't just use the same, "Okay, how would you like to introduce yourself?" That is a very open-ended question, which may or may not trigger the right memories to have a good answer to that. So I guess that's my communication tip in this video in terms of autism communication strategies. Having specific prompts helps a lot, which is ironically the opposite advice for most neurotypical settings. So when I'm facilitating a neurotypical group or just any random group that I happen to be working with, usually the advice is something along the lines of, give the person a big target. Give them such a broad question that it doesn't really matter how they interpret it or how they answer it. It will be correct. It'll be right. So I might say something like, what did you learn this week? And the person can interpret it any way they want and give any kind of answer they want, and it will be good, and it will um, make the meeting flow and everything like that. Because what you don't want to do is say, what did you think of lesson 5? And the person thinks, oh, lesson 5, which one was that again? I'm not sure what I did for lesson 5. And then you're sort of putting them on the spot and they don't know what to say, which is ironically what happens when you ask an what often happens when you ask an autistic person an open-ended question. We feel put on the spot and not sure what to say, and it can be a little bit challenging to deal with. So anyway, that was my reflection from the week from running these online meetups. It's going really well, actually, overall. We're up to having 2 meetups every week so far. So if you'd like to be involved in that, check out the Aspergers from the Inside Meetup Group on Facebook. I'm hoping that we can set up some regular meetings, not only in Melbourne but in different time zones as well, because it's such an easy way to connect with each other. It's such a powerful experience to suddenly be chatting to other people who can understand even really little things like this idea of struggling with an open-ended question. It's also just really entertaining. Guaranteed there will be 1 or 2 moments of, oh, you do that too. Oh, that's an autistic thing. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I'll have to go back and think about how that applies to my life, because I'm definitely in that category of whatever you just shared your experience with. I'm like, oh, you mean other people struggle with this thing too? Oh, okay. Let me go and think about what that means. So it's really enlightening. It's great to have some kind of social contact. It's very accessible for people. Hopefully, that's what we're trying to do. So if you'd like to get involved with that, check out the Aspergers from the Inside Facebook page. And yeah, hopefully we can see you online. If not, the I am rambling. I should just say goodbye. I never know how to end videos. So I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching. Prompt autistic people. It helps a lot. And maybe we'll see each other online for some of these social groups. Thanks. Bye.